spell or a trap or a monster on the field, and then you can discard a different type of a card from your deck to the graveyard. So if you target a monster, then you can send a spell or a trap, or if you target a spell card or a trap card, then you can send the other types. So you have to target a virtual world card, and after you send something to the graveyard, you can special summon the virtual world monster, and then you also get an extra effect. So for Lulu, the extra effect is that you can add to your hand another virtual world card of the other type. That makes it a really good card. Then we have Gigi. And Gigi is also level 3, like Lulu. Except that it's not a tuner. Lulu is a tuner. And then Gigi also adds a card to your hand, but only during your end phase, and not from your deck, but from your graveyard. So it just gives you gas for the next turn, but otherwise it's just an extender. Then we have Virtual World Yan Yan. This guy. This guy is a different one. It doesn't actually special summon itself from the deck, or from the hand. It special summons itself from the graveyard when you play a level 3 monster. So yeah, it comes back from the graveyard. And otherwise it's a non-tuner, but when it comes back from the graveyard, then it becomes a tuner. And then when it leaves the field, you have to banish it. And it also has another effect that when it's banished, you can add a card that is banished either face up or face down, it doesn't matter. You can add it to the deck. So yeah. Then we have 3 Virtual World Kirin Lilies. These are also non-tuners, and these are level 6 monsters. So Lilies essentially double Foolish Burial, so it sends one of the types and then sends the other type as well. So it's a good starter, I think. And and then the last Virtual World monster that we have is Virtual World Lao Lao. And Lao Lao is the best extender because when it's special summoned, then you can special summon from your graveyard another Virtual World monster. So it's like a Monster Reborn. And as you can see then, Virtual World, this is the Virtual World monster lineup that I play, which is super standard. But they are divided into wind monsters and earth monsters, and so Lulu's here, and Lao Lao's, and also Yan Yan's. They're all wind type, wind attribute, and a psychic type. And the other ones, so the Lilies and Gigi's, they're both earth attribute and worm type. So that's something to keep in mind. And all the psychics, I mean these are tuners, and the Yan Yan can be a tuner, and the worms, they are not tuners. So that's for the monsters. Now let's talk about the virtual world spells. First of all, we have triple Quinlong, and the main idea of Quinlong is that since it's in this deck, it's very easy to dump spells or traps or monsters or anything to the graveyard from the deck, and once this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it from the graveyard and search for a virtual world monster that you like. So it's a searcher, but you also will have to discard something. And well, yeah, it does have another effect since it is a continuous spell card, and that effect is to negate the monster effect on the field. But to do that, you have to banish one virtual world card from your graveyard. So that effect might also come in handy. Then we'll play 3 virtual world City Calhoun's. And this card, the main effect, it has quite a few effects, but the main effect is to place a virtual world spell or a trap card from your deck and to the field and activate it face up on the field. So it is essentially used to activate the virtual world trap cards from the deck, since you are going to need to target something with your monsters to special summon them. So for traps, we have Virtual World Gate, Juche. So Juche pops a face-up card on the field. And also to do that, you have to shuffle 2 of your Virtual World cards from the banish to the deck. And it also has another effect, that if you have this card in the graveyard and you banish it, then you can modulate your virtual world monsters level, so you can basically deduct 3 levels or add 3 levels. So it really makes summoning your Xyz or summoning your synchro monsters more flexible, and gives you more different options. And then we also have Virtual Gate Xanwu, which is basically a monster reborn. So when it's in the graveyard and is banished, then you can special summon a virtual world monster from the graveyard, but negate its effects, and you also have to discard a card. And yeah, it's also a continuous trap card, so while it's on the field, you can change the battle mode of a monster. So that might also come in handy in some situations. Yeah, so that's the virtual world core, basically. Then we have some more generic cards here. We have Emergency Teleport, which can special summon a level 3 or lower psychic monster from your hand or deck. So special summoning from the deck is a very strong ability, and being able to start your plays by special summoning Lulu or Yan Yan straight from the deck is very strong. And it's also not once per turn, so if you draw 3 of these, then you can go ahead and activate all of them. Then we have Pot of Desires, which was limited, sadly, on the last list. Otherwise, we would be playing 3 of these, because in this deck it's a very, very good card. Well, you have to banish 10 cards, then you actually don't really mind, since first of all you play 3 from here really helps. So it's a loss for this deck, I think, that this card was limited, but I still can play the one. Then we also have Called by the Grave, just to stop your opponent's hand traps and keep on playing. And then we have Foolish Burial Goods, just to not break, help you not break. And if you draw this and you don't have any virtual world monsters, or you just have one, then you can always use this and send the Quinlong to the graveyard and continue playing on. Then we also have 3 hand traps. 3 different hand traps here. First of them is Sai Frame Gear Gamma. Gamma is one of the strongest hand traps in the game, I think. It not only negates the monster effect, but it also destroys the monster that its effect negates. So, a very strong card. It only has a downside that you have to play a vanilla brick in your deck to use this card, since you have to special summon this card from your deck or graveyard. But I think it's totally worth it. And also you cannot activate Gamma while you have monsters on the field, so we also play Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. So this card just destroys your opponent's monster or spell or trap card. But it's a psychic, so you can special summon it with the emergency teleport if you need to. And then to stop the opponent's plays, we also have 3 infinite impermanence, and it's also a good card in the sense that you can also activate this card during your own turn, so you can break your opponent's board with it. And that's what I really love about this card over Effect Veiler, which you can only use on your opponent's main phase. And then we have two last cards here are maybe a little bit weird, but they are very useful with Beatrice that I play in my extra deck. So Beatrice can send any card from the deck to the graveyard, and Metalfoes Fusion. So it basically becomes draw 1, because Metalfoes Fusion, if it's in your graveyard, you can add it to your deck and draw a card. So it's nice. It's a nice card in this deck because you often have to discard something, and if you happen to have this card in your hand, then you're happy to discard it and draw another card. So I like it. And the last one here is Nelchadal Ariel, and this is here because I played a lot against Sky Striker and these kinds of cards. So what it does is you can use Beatrice to send this from the deck to the graveyard, and then you can banish 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard. So against some decks, this is really strong. But otherwise, these 2 could be easily replaced with any 2 hand traps. For example, Ash Blossoms or something like that, or Nibiru's, or yeah. And this is the main deck, 40 cards. And we also have the extra deck here. And on top here you can see the boss monster of the deck, Shen Shen, and it's a very good card. So not only is it has a macro Cosmos effect. So all cards from the field that are sent to the graveyard are banished instead. So it stops a lot of decks in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But it also has a recursion effect. So while it's in the graveyard, you can banish 2 Virtual World cards from your graveyard, and you can special summon this monster back, so it comes back all the time, and it's a nuisance for your opponent. Then we have Vermilion Dragon Mech. Also, as you can see, then all of these synchros are either Synchro 9 or Synchro 6. Super easy to make these. So this one just destroys or pops your opponent's cards. And there's also a nice play where it can pop itself and add the banished tuner to your hand. And that banished tuner can be Lulu, so it can also, in some situations, help you make plays. Then we have Stardust Charge Warrior, which is here in the deck. Just draw a card, so it's Synchro 6, and well, if you summon it, then you can draw a card. So yeah, and there's another one. So a Coral Dragon, and so when Coral Dragon is used as a material, or actually it doesn't have to be used as a material. If it's just sent to the graveyard, then you can draw a card. And also you can discard a card and then pop your opponent's stuff. And then we have Virtual World Juju, which is another Virtual World card. And the nice thing about this is that it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. If you have 2 or more monsters in your graveyard with the same original type and attribute, so yeah, sometimes it may be difficult for opponents to get through this. Then we play the Tzolk'in package. So Tzolk'in is essentially a Synchro 12 monster. You have to use level 6 tuner and a non-tuner. And then if it's on the field and you set a spell or a trap card, you can special summon a Synchro Dragon monster from your extra deck. So it's used to summon the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And so this card is quite good. It has a quick effect that you can negate the activation and destroy your opponent's monster. And then we also play the Mod Dragon Kaliga package, which is that the Mighty Mod Dragon is here just to special summon the Kaliga, and Kaliga is a floodgate monster that says that each player can attempt to activate only 1 monster effect per turn, and also can only attack with 1 monster each battle phase. So if you have a Kaliga on the field, and if you also have Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon on the field, then essentially your opponent can only attempt to activate 1 monster effect, and you can use the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon to negate that effect. And these 2 cards may already win you the game just on their own. And then we have the Xyz monsters here. Already talked about the Beatrice. So Beatrice is Xyz level rank 6, and it can send any card from your deck to the graveyard. So on your turn, you could send the Metal Foes Fusion and draw a card, and during your opponent's turn, you could send the Ariel and banish 3 of the cards from the graveyard. Then we also have Constellar Ptolemy M7. It's also a very good card. If you remove the material from this card, then you can add a card from your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard to that player's hand. So you can basically take back any hand traps or any cards you have in the graveyard, or you can send your opponent's cards from deck to deck back to deck to deck. Then we have Virtual World Phoenix Fan. So it's just a good card. You can detach 2 materials from this card and then target 1 face-up card in your opponent controls, and also 1 card in your graveyard, so you can banish 2 cards. Then we have Zeus. Zeus is Divine Arsenal, a Zeus Sky Thunder. So this card is also kind of a boss monster, and you can special summon it if one of your Xyz monsters attacked that turn. Then you can, and if you remove 2 materials from this card, then you can destroy all other cards in the field. So it's a very good board wipe. And then we also have number 49, Fortune Tune, and this card is here just because the reason that for this card is to just special summon Zeus, because neither player can target this card on the field with card effects, and if it would be destroyed, then you can just detach 1 material. So essentially, if you can special summon this, you can just attack whatever your opponent has, and then slap a Zeus on top of it and destroy everything on the field. And then from the final card in extra deck, I played Totem Bird, and it's just here against some of the against spell and trap cards like Evenly Matched, which can totally destroy your board. But if you can make Totem Bird, then you're protected from those kinds of cards like Lightning Storm or Raigeki or Evenly Matched, and I find this is also quite easy to make here, and a good addition to the deck. Make sure final board stronger. So let's do a test hand as well. So first of all, I'm gonna shuffle the deck. use it to search a virtual world monster that I can normal summon, like Lulu or Nyan Nyan. Normal summon it and then play Lily, so I already could do some plays. Alright, so I'd say it's already shaping up to be quite of a good hand. Alright then, alright, so I think well, actually, now we have these two plays here. Could send using this. I could send Quinn Long, or we could just normal summon Lulu. I think I just normal summon Lulu, and let's see where we get. So normal summon and activate Lily, targeting Lulu. So now this means that I can send a spell or a trap card to the graveyard to summon it, and so I can send the Quinn Long to the graveyard. I cannot send a monster. And now Lily will special summon itself, and then I can send another one. I'll send the Chuche to the graveyard. Then we have two cards in the graveyard. What we could do now is we could actually use Chuche to up Lulu to level 6, then synchro these two, make Zolkin and set this, and we could get the Crystal Wing, but we wouldn't have any virtual world names on the field for Lalo. So I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to banish the Quinn Long from the graveyard and search for another Lulu. And then we have to discard something. We are going to discard the Gamma. Now we're going to activate Lulu in our hand, targeting one of these guys, and we can send a trap card to the graveyard, which would be now the other trap, which we do not have in the graveyard yet. So it would be the Ixan Wu sent to the graveyard, and we could add to our hand a virtual world spell, which would be then the Kowloon. Now Lulu special summons herself. Now we'll proceed as we were planning to do before. So we're going to remove Chuche from the graveyard. We're going to up Lulu to level 6. Then we have a level 6 Synchro and a level 6 tuner and level 6 non-tuner. We can use these two. target Chuche, and we're going to send the virtual world monster to the graveyard. And there's actually two monsters, virtual world monsters, that we haven't seen yet, so let's send the Gigi to the graveyard. And then special summon the Lily from the graveyard. And now we can actually XC summon using these two. We can make Beatrice here and draw a card, but why I sent Gigi was because I was thinking of this play. So we can special summon the Constellar Ptolemy M7, and we can detach one material and send the Gigi to our hand. Alright, so we have these guys in our hand. Now we can activate Gigi, target Chuche, and send the Yan Yan to the graveyard. If I knew I was playing, for example, Sky Striker player, then I would have gone for the probably would have gone for the Beatrice play here. But let's say that I don't know anything about my opponent, so that's not why I wanted to get the GG. So I would get to add a virtual world card to my hand at the end phase. So now I actually have a tuner and a non-tuner, and I think we can use these to special summon the Muddy Mud Dragon. So we're going to special summon the Muddy Mud Dragon and use the Muddy Mud Dragon's effect. And fusion summon using these two. The invoked Kaliga. So now we have this board that our opponent, if they would attempt to activate the monster effect, they can only attempt it once per turn, and we could negate it with Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. We still have some gas actually. We have the Village Burial Good in our hand, so why not? We can Foolish Burial Goods and send from our hand to the graveyard the Metal Foes Fusion. Then we can use the effect of Metal Foes Fusion to put it back into the deck to draw a card. So let's see if we can even extend this board further. Alright, we're drawing Emergence Teleport. Alright. Okay. So this definitely helps us extend. What do we have in that? Okay. We're having the graveyard. We actually have the Xanwu in the graveyard. Say I would have special summoned this monster to the extra monster zone, then we could do a special summon this card as well. And now I would have to discard a card for Xanwu, but I can chain the emergency teleport to Xanwu, which means, well, actually, so it means that it's going to be actually chain link 1, and I can special summon. Let's say, we have to think what our endport is going to be. So let's say we're just going to special summon the Ghost Ogre and the Snow Rabbit, and then so chain link 1, then chain link 2 would special summon the Lulu, and then the Nyan Nyan would trigger and special summon itself. So now we can the endport that I was thinking of is just summoning these two to make the Totem Bird. So now the Totem Bird would protect us from any spell or traps which could destroy this board. And we still have, they can only use one monster effect, and we still have the Crystal Wind Synchro Dragon here, and we also have Ghost Ogre. So I'd say it's quite of a strong end board here. Yeah. But the thing is, I could have gone for a totally different place here. Instead of Totem Bird, I could have summoned, and going for Snow Rabbit, I could have just summoned the Shen Shen, and maybe that would have been even better. Although the board would have been more susceptible to evenly matched. So, as I said, then this deck is just a wonderful thing to play, and the puzzly way of solving how do you want to get to your end board has so many different combo elements to it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys next time.